The light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis.
Light can travel, can change form, and can be harnessed to do work. Photosynthesis is when light energy is converted into chemical energy, and photoautotrophs use this to build carbohydrate molecules. Electromagnetic radiation travels in the form of waves, and wavelength is the amount of energy or the distance between consecutive points on a wave. A longer wavelength means less energy, and the electromagnetic spectrum is the range of all possible frequencies of radiation. Short, tight waves carry the most energy and could potentially damage cells. Levels lower than red on the electromagnetic spectrum cannot raise electrons to higher orbitals, and levels higher than blue can tear molecules apart. That's called bleaching. Pigments absorb light, initiating photosynthesis. They reflect or transmit wavelengths that they cannot absorb. This makes them appear in the corresponding color. Two major classes of photosynthetic pigments are chlorophylls and carotenoids.
Carotenoids are photosynthetic pigments. They're very efficient for disposal of excess energy. They dissipate energy as heat. Many photosynthetic organisms have a mixture of pigments. This is because in heavily forested areas such as rainforests, there is competition for sunlight. Having more pigments means the plants can utilize more wavelengths of light for photosynthesis. This allows shrubs living on the forest floor to produce energy photosynthetically, even while in the shade of trees. A spectrophotometer is a piece of equipment that can differentiate which wavelengths of light a substance can absorb. You may remember using this in our spit lab. It measures transmitted light and uses it to compute the absorption. How light-dependent reactions work. The function of light-dependent reactions is to convert solar energy into chemical energy in the form of NADPH and ATP inside the chloroplasts. Inside the chloroplast, there are multiple photosystems. Both have the same basic structure. First, it has antenna proteins, which are chlorophyll molecules that surround the reaction center. The reaction center is where the photochemistry takes place. The light harvesting complex passes energy from sunlight to the reaction center. This complex consists of multiple antenna proteins that contain a mixture of 300 to 400 chlorophyll molecules. Light is measured in photons.
In the photosystem 2 reaction center, energy from sunlight is converted into energy. The reaction center has a pair of chlorophyll A molecules, and they can undergo oxidation upon excitation. And at this point, light energy is converted into an excited electron. And then all of the following steps from here are getting that electron into the energy carrier NADPH for delivery to the Calvin cycle. And this happens through the electron transport chain, which includes PS1 and PS2 and the cytochrome complex. In the PS2 reaction center, water splits and the PS2 is re-reduced. And energy is lost as they move through between the PS2 and PS1, and it is re-energized by PS1. And in the PS1 reaction center, NADP plus forms into NADPH. And these two photosystems work together to make sure that NADPH and ATP are roughly equal. And through this, ATP is created, and this happens as hydrogens move through the ATP synthase, and energy is released and forms a molecule of ATP.